dots, irons, heck, maybe go back to a frickin' musket. I don't know. Mickey with CarryTrainer.com. Got a bunch of work guns here in front of us. And recent vid, we talked about, or rather I said I would talk about, irons versus dots and why I still carry irons mostly. And I said I'd talk about it more and I failed to, so we're going to do it now. So much conversation about how to use your dot or sights. Did any of you go to a special red dot course for your carbine? Or did you just bolt the thing on and zero it? I'm guessing that's what you did. Irons, line them up, shoot, right? Line them up, shoot. Dot, line it up, shoot. The fastest way between 2 points, nobody behind the camera but the berm, is to go to that spot. We don't draw and go up to go down. We don't draw and go down to go up. We don't draw and go right to go left, or vice versa. We go straight to the target. And as I'm staring at some of these work guns, I'm immediately drawn to this piece right here. So this is a Browning high power, and this Browning high power, being a little hard on her, was actually carried by a good friend, mentor of mine on duty. He retired years ago and came to me. This is old enough that this one was made in Belgium. And these were called the Wonder Nines, right? So you look back far enough, things like this were not very common. He kept himself in his community. He was on the SWAT team, carried that on the SWAT team many years ago, and it worked just fine. But things evolve, things evolve. We can look at something like this PX4 from Langdon with a Trigicon on top of it. It's kind of like space aged compared to that all metal gun from FN. Now, while I might not share dots a lot, we've been after them quite a long time. In fact, when our good friends at Langdon decided to launch this, Ernest and Amy chose me and another guy to be the ones to share these with you. So this slide from Beretta, sexed up by Mr. Langdon himself, was one of the first ones that they made, and this one came to me so that we could make the videos that people got to see, which is kind of cool. So I'm not new to dots, but this idea that you have to have one is a little bit silly. Now, what do they do for you? Well, they make aiming of the pistol, and I'm going to grab this Beretta barrel out of the slide. They make the aiming of the barrel a little easier. They're just taking steps out. If you can put the little glowy dot, whatever color it is, I don't care, on the target, and we'll just assume that you've got a 0, then you probably should hit it rather than having to align the sights. Now, if you're a guy like me, covered in gray hair, maybe you've got enough time behind those irons where you don't have to think about it that much. If I was starting a new person out in the concealed carry space, an argument could be made to get them started on irons so that they understand it versus going straight to the dot. Now, there's some caveats to that. Kind of like you should know how to drive a stick shift. For most of us, we don't really encounter manual transmission vehicles unless we go looking for it. Race cars, classic cars. If you're overseas, maybe you'll see them more. But it's very hard to just end up in a manual transmission, standard transmission these days. So saying that, you should learn it because that's the path, because that's the way it's done. Well, should we all own a old high power or an old 1911? Should we all have a wheel gun, right? Should we all have something like that because it came before? So I think that argument's moot. So that's a argument pro dot, right? Pro dot. Because it's easier, it gets you through that curve faster. And there are nuances to both of those things. The purpose of this video is not how to shoot irons or how to shoot a dot. Got tons of those out there. By the way, I'm looking at a box somewhere here where a dude just sent me. Oh, it's right here. I might as well just grab it. He just sent me, and I'm going to have to make a video on it, but I'll plug it here, a bunch of his aids for sights and dots, guntrainingsights.com. Give him a little plug. He's not paying for it. But this isn't how to do it. So I believe a few things should be factored in. And the reason that Mickey, I, hate second, third person. I don't know why I said that. Carries sights over a dot, usually, is I'm just so dang used to it. For me, it's easy. And I've got enough time in that I'm comfortable. I can present that pistol 25 yards and in, and I'm pretty dang confident that I'm going to get it done. I'm no more confident with a dot. Now, without fail, if I took two new shooters and I took them to the range and I took identical guns. Now, these are not identical, but they're identical enough for our discussion. Both cleared out. If I took both of these guns, two Glocks, one of them has a Koa on it, one of them has some Ameriglow. And both of these guns I've got a lot of time through. And I took those two shooters and spent some time on the range, I would guarantee that with that dot, we are going to get that shooter hitting targets smaller and farther faster. The learning curve, as I already stated, is shorter. So don't look at what me or somebody else is doing and emulate it. Figure out what's right for you. Now, I like simple, man. My truck has got friggin' running boards that open and close automatically. You can start the thing off your phone, you know, all the stuff that many new cars have. And while I appreciate all those things, I also have found that they can be super annoying. Once in a while, man, I wish for a carbureted or at the very least like basic fuel injected vehicle that I can pop the hood and wrench on stuff without having to be a NASA scientist. Many of you know what I'm talking about. The argument that irons fail is real. They can break, but in training thousands of students from one coast to the other, from the Canadian border down to the Caribbean and to other countries, I have categorically seen iron sights fail 1,000th of the time that dots do. When irons fail, usually it is a couple of things: improperly installed, junk to begin with, or misaligned to begin with as a failure point. We see things like fiber optics falling out of sights often. Let me find one so we can see what we're talking about. I think I've got some here in this Wilson Beretta. So some nice fibers. These are really easy to break, especially if you're abusing the gun, right? If you're really beating on it, that's easy to have happen. I break the fibers so much that I carry a bunch of them in the range bag. If they break, I can still line things up because you still have that metal housing that the fiber lives in. When dots, on the other hand, break, boy, it's a lot of things. It's anything from batteries, and I know it's not these batteries. It's anything from batteries to mounting screws to mounting plates to improperly mounted dots that go flying off, that twist in the mount, that have experienced some type of electronic issue, circuitry loosening up, things that are not potted correctly inside in epoxy, coming loose, and just like any other electrical device, when power or connectivity is lost, they go kaput. I have seen all kinds of things like that, up to and including the glass falling out as well, depending on the type of sight it is. So this Koa, closed emitter, glass. When you get dirt, debris, anything that doesn't belong on that glass, it can occlude your vision. In addition to carrying that gun around like so, usually in a holster, water, snow, etc. collects in there, and it can occlude your vision. Anybody that's ever worn sunglasses, ski goggles, or driven in a vehicle knows what happens when moisture hits the windshield. Versus, where's that one we were looking at? We'll grab that SRO. So versus an open emitter. So the open emitter, the emitter is back in here, emitting that light up onto the screen, basically like a little projector. And stuff can fall down in here in these open emitters. And boy, it can require you to get back to the shop and get compressed air and really have to be careful, because if you just start digging in there, you might just pack and smear the stuff deeper. I've seen at one range, guys were shooting. mud was coming off the range. And occasionally stuff can fly kind of far. This stuff, a chunk of mud about as big as, oh, I don't know, a pea. And it was pretty sticky. Fell right in dude's optic. And boy, we had to take it apart. We're pouring water on it, flushing it, trying to be careful because mud's got little bits of grit and all kinds of stuff. And we didn't want to scratch the thing up and break it. I personally have seen way more failures in that category. Now, it's easy to argue and say, I've never had these problems. I've never seen them. And this, make no mistake, this is not me being a FUD saying they're not ready for the real, the real thing. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying in my experience, I've seen them fail enough that for me, I'm just more comfortable. Now, there's one big thing. It's a real big thing that makes it so much easier for me. And it's just comfort, right? I'm 195 pounds, 6 feet tall, and fairly trim, right? I don't have a storage unit here that hangs over the gun, especially in the warmer months. Today, I've got a t-shirt on. It's easier to hide the irons. And so guys say, well, dress around the gun. Look, I'm going to say the next couple of things here with total love, kindness, and warmth. I don't care what you do. I spend my days doing everything from reading to jujitsu, striking arts, weightlifting, stretching, yoga, of course, work. We all got to make a living. Got to do parenting, grandparenting stuff. My life is not how I carry a gun. I can shoot better than most people. I'm not comparing myself to the greatest shooters in the world, nor am I patting myself on the back. So I feel comfortable based on the totality of my training and experience that with the gun that I carry, I could get the job done based on the parameters of what we know we would probably be engaging in the environment that we live in. I'm not a Delta Force soldier or SEAL Team 6. The president's not calling me saying, Mick, get your Browning high power and get your ass to the coast. So I'm going to pick you up in a boat and take you to Ufukistan, and we're going to drop you off and insert you with your old Beretta or old FN, right? I'm not doing that. So for me, it's about reliability, concealability, shootability in no particular order. Reliability is number one though. I don't want anything that's not reliable. Shootability, any of these guns are going to be accurate. It's my job to do it. And there are guns in here. I'm looking at one right now. This little guy. This is a nice little gun. I can't shoot it very well. Of course, I can shoot it, but it requires me to have a lot of thought versus other little guns like this. About the same size, I can shoot this way better just the way it fits my hand. So I'm interested in, can I get it done with the thing? Is it reliable? Is it repeatable? Is it robust? So those three things go over here next. Can I shoot it well? Can I get hits on the target? Does it have the round count that makes me feel good based on my knowledge, training, and experience, based on what I think the problem is that I will have to solve, right? If a dot makes me better at all those things, then cool. Well, Mick, what if you have to shoot 150 yards away? Well, then I guess I'm going to have a problem with that, or I guess I'm going to have to start sprinting, right? Everything is not the gun. As I stated earlier, and I'm going to wrap on this, are you practicing some fitness? Are you practicing being able to have some endurance? Are you practicing remaining calm in a bad situation, which you don't need to just be in violence to do that? Are you training some grappling and fighting arts? Are you training to be able to assess situations through awareness, through your understanding of the human animal? Are you doing those things? Don't get so linear that it's all about the tool. This is kind of a cool blaster that Springfield sent us. I know some of you guys will poo-poo it, but I had a good time shooting it. It's a big Mambo Jumbo. This is a big pig of a pistol with a big old light on it and a dot and all the things, a big old monster clipazine, right? Does this make me feel better? Yeah, probably. If in the moment this was in my hand, I would feel a lot better. But I have to carry it every day. I've got to be able to get away with it being in my pants Some of you guys are used to little stuff in the pants. You'll be okay. You'll be okay. Don't feel that you have to do what the masses do, but do understand that you want to develop the skills, the ability, the comfort. When I say comfort, I don't mean like, man, this shirt sure is comfortable. I mean knowing that, God forbid, should I have to bring that pistol to bear, I know what I can do. My daughter asked me the other day, hey, how much can you deadlift? I don't know. It's been a long time since I tried to do that. I'm not going to walk up to the bar and just load it up and try it, but she's doing it in school with her wrestling program. So I've got weights. I'm going to try it safely, right? I'm not going to just like try to like set my personal best. But if you said, hey, can you deadlift 100 pounds? Yes, I safely know I could deadlift 100 pounds. Could you deadlift 250? Yep, I could do that. Could you deadlift 500? I don't know if I could safely do 500, right? So where is the breaking point where you know that you can't get it done or are not comfortable, hence the word comfortable getting it done? I know I could shoot 25 yards and in. I know I can shoot 50 yards and in, but at different distances with the platform I choose, I may need to get steadier, take more time perhaps, or verify that I've got the sight picture that I need. Open discussion here, guys, not a shooting video other than the clip that we opened with. Be well. Don't be dickheads. Tell somebody you love them. Hey, I'm sporting an Ignis Lux coffee shirt. Pour yourself into love. The idea is this life is going to end, my friends, and what we put into it, enriching the lives of others, is far more important than all this stuff. Your kids are not going to look back and be like, dude, my dad was such a good shooter and he spent all his time at the range, right? Unless you're with them, right? Unless you got those kids out there. Your kids are certainly not going to be happy that you spent all your time on YouTube or Instagram when you could have been with them, been at the game, or done whatever else is important for being a dad. Don't spend all your time in these apps. When you have time, when it's available, maybe when you're out on a jog or something like that. I appreciate you guys. Today is the 22nd of December, 2025. I cannot believe that another year has blasted by. So I'm going to get ready for 26. We hope to do good things with you then. Please do. Also, check out Gunfighter Gun Oil. Right now, Google it, Gunfighter Gun Oil, and you will see that it is rated the #1 lubricant by the internet. But there's a reason for it. Peace. Be good. Oh, hey,